Hello everybody, Theo the Juggernaut with you Monday afternoon. What a gorgeous day outside, probably the last one we're ever going to see. However, we have to discuss some of the trials and tribulations and the finales of the season for our Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And let's not forget the excitement that some of the hockey is bringing to us over the course of the weekend. So let's start with our Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Exciting as it was, as depressing as it was, and an amazing game that it was, you clearly have to look at the call at the end of the game as the TSN turning point for the entire season, and whether or not you consider Mr. Medlock being the premier field goal taker, or Matt Nichols taking a chance on a 3rd and 4 to get 5, 6, 7 yards, potentially 2 more plays, and maybe that extra 10 to 12 yards that Medlock needed for the win. Well, Coach O'Shea, I mean, you're going to be living this decision for the rest of the offseason, and maybe not. Maybe you can put it on water like a duck's back. But the bottom line is, it wasn't the right call. Was it the right call? If I'm in that decision, I probably would want to take the 3rd and 4. My offense with Matt Nichols, Harris, and the melee of fantastic wideouts we had all game to gain 5 yards on a offense that can have 7 to 8 or however many people moving before the defense can even figure out what's going on, gives me a better opportunity to gain 4 yards as opposed to trying to kick a teed up 61-yard field goal from a very good kicker who was fantastic all year. Justin Medlock did a lot of great things. He was perfect, I think, almost for every point after attempt, and he broke Dave Ridgway's 60 field goals in a single season. So the guy's got a leg on him, and we gave him every opportunity to win games. He kicked 7 field goals in a game. Last night he was perfect until the last second field goal with 36 seconds left. But what can you say about the chance or the choice or the opportunity for your offense to have someone like Weston Dressler or Ryan Smith or Clarence Denmark or Robert Harris, somebody to gain 5 yards for a first down? And to say that a season has fallen on such, ugly woes remains to be the question. And we won't know until next year whether or not what happens in the offseason, whether or not most of these players do come back and build on what was a great year. Matt Nichols, certainly, like everyone is saying, is deserving of a large improvement on his contract, and we'll be negotiating that as well. But let's not forget what the Bombers did. They had the best road record in the CFL. Congratulations. As mentioned, 6 Bombers are going to the All-Stars or were named All-Stars this year. Justin Medlock in his career year, kicking field goals and point afters. And you have to remember, going 1-4 and then winning 9 out of 10 and losing that one against Calgary was a great year and a middle year that set the tone for the rest of the season for the Bombers. Now, that's all the positives. And what the one major negative of the whole thing was very apparent in yesterday's game, and that's the amount of pass rushing versus soft zone defensive coverage that we had on our defensive side. Clearly, amazing amount of takeaways, leading the league in takeaways by a huge margin, but it nipped us in the butt at the end when you can't have someone or a group of members putting pressure on a quarterback that scores 2 touchdowns rushing and another 2 touchdowns through the air. Jennings, well done. You definitely preserved yourself as being a starter in BC for many years to come or wherever you decide to play. Good luck next week. Bombers, a great season. Still, it ended far too short. I think we would have liked to have seen 1 or 2 more games played. Bombers are done. We'll leave it at that. What a great season. Let's move on to something a little more positive here. Let's go to the Brandon Wheat Kings. They had 3 games over the weekend. They played Red Deer, then a home-and-home with Swift Current. They went 3-0 with a couple of extra innings in there with the Broncos Saturday and Sunday. First, the 5-2 win over the Red Bulls, scoring an even strength, a shorthanded, and a power play goal in the first period alone. Fantastic work by the Wheaties on all 3 fronts. Cale Clegg, Steely Mateos, Ty Lewis with 2 goals, and Tyler Coulter finishing up the scoring for the Wheaties. Jordy Paperny, 32 saves, keeping the boys in there. Well done, a great effort in Red Deer. Quickly hopping on the bus, heading to Swift Current for a game on Saturday, playing the Broncos and needing some extra time to win this one, 4-3 in a shootout. Brandon jumped out to a 3-0 lead with goals from Stelio Mateos, Ty Lewis, and a first from Shale Hickson from the point. Then the Broncos stormed back with 3 in the third tying the game at 3-3. Paperny having several amazing saves in the third to keep it 3-3. Heading into overtime, solving nothing. 2 out of 3 scores. Reed Duke and Stelio Mateo scoring in the overtime shootout for the win. And like we mentioned, Jordan playing back-to-back games. 32 saves on Friday and 33 on Saturday. Well done. Deserving a rest as they hop back on the bus, back from Swift Current over to Brandon. Now to play the home-and-home second half of it against these Broncos at home. And of course, they loved it so much they did it a second time. They decided to play it in shootout fashion as well, winning 3-2. D-man scoring for both goals for the Wheaties this time. James Shearer and Jordan Wary with his first of the season. And Stelio Mateo's clutch, just like Line, we'll get to him in a second, with another shootout winner. He was the only one to score of the 6 shooters. Logan Thompson giving Paperny the break. 36 saves, well done. A perfect 3-0 season, 3-0 series, over the weekend for the Wheat Kings. What's up for them? They play Friday, they play Saturday night, both at home. 7:30 starts. They're taking on the Saskatoon Blades. Should be a good tilt there. Friday and Saturday night in Brandon. That's the Wheaties. That's the Bombers. The Moose, well, let's dip down to the tragic hero scenario. After having a great start at home with a lot of great wins, they just couldn't figure out what's going on in San Diego. Maybe too much sun, too much surfing, I don't know. But they dropped both games against the Gulls. Friday 3-2 and Sunday with a 6-3 loss. Eric Comrie got the first start, 34 saves on 37 shots. They played catch-up all game. Unfortunately, Dan DeSalvo and Kevin Kuzma were the only 2 scoring. DeSalvo with his first goal, Kuzma with his second. Sunday, Moose firing 42 shots. There must have been a discussion between the first game and the second game, because in the second game they only mustered, I think, 23 or 24. So 42 pucks yelled at the San Diego Gulls netminder. He did very well, stopping 39 of them. And another thing they really did well was the fact that the Moose scored first. Chase DeLeo with his second of the year. He would score his third later on in the second. But what's disturbing is the fact that 5 of the next 6 goals belonged to San Diego. So they went up to a 5-2 lead halfway through the third, and by that time, the game was pretty much out of reach. As mentioned, Chase DeLeo scoring 2, and Jimmy Lodge scoring his first goal of the season. Andre Pavlik getting the second loss there. He didn't have a very good start. What can you say about they got another game on Wednesday afternoon at 12 p.m. tilt in my favorite town. I'm being very sarcastic, Bakersfield, California. Not much going on in Bakersfield unless you have a condor and you decide to let it loose in the middle of the game or for the opening ceremonies. I think we remember that TSN or that ESPN Sports Center moment when the condor gets loose and scares everybody in the arena. So hopefully they keep the birds at bay. Hopefully the Moose can put the puck in the net first and take care of some of those chances. They still might be without Quentin Howden. He was called up to the Jets. He played against Los Angeles yesterday afternoon. And another big body up front filling in very well for some of the injuries. A lot of the injuries the Jets are facing these days. They are now 8-7-2 on the year with the win. A first shootout win of the year for the Winnipeg Jets, defeating the LA Kings 3-2. What can you say? A well-rounded effort. Wheeler said it best. Depth, durability, and getting it from everybody is a successful win for this team at home. We all know the Kings can score, and they all put pressure in the third because that's the way Sutter coaches. He likes to finish the game strong. The Jets clearly took the first 2 periods outplaying the LA Kings. The Kings stormed back. Luckily, they were only down 2-1 after 2. So, what can you say about the Jets? Real quick, Lowry and Bookham Dano both scoring in regulation. Both power play goals. Power play went 2 for 5. And then, like we said, in a shootout, overtime solving nothing. In the shootout, we had our big shooters going off for us. 2 of the 3 scoring in Patrick Laine. Everyone thinking a shot, but he pulls the deke and just steals the jockstrap from Budai. I mean, right through the legs later. Thank you. I mean, he had the whole right side of the net open too, but decided to shove it through the legs. And then Scheifele standing up tall and firing on the quick left side of the net. Good job for him, crossbody. Great goal. And what can we say about Connor Hellebuck now? He's finally getting his rhythm. He's finally giving some strength on the defensive side to stop the puck. And you can't really blame him for the second goal. It was a screen shot. The guy was left wide open in front of the slot. But with the goaltending comes the defensive playing. And in the last 2 games, we've seen Jacob Trouba do very well, both being paired with Ben Sherratt and Toby Enstrom. He played in the second. He took Mike Myers. He took Tyler Myers' spot after dealing with a day-to-day injury. He's got a UBI. So hopefully he's not gone too long. They had Postma back in the lineup on Sunday. We had Trouba moving up to the second pairing. Played a lot with a lot of the other defensemen, except not too much with Josh Morrissey. Nonetheless, Dustin Byfuglien, what can we say about this guy? 31-28 in playing time. Still not getting the rest he needs, but nonetheless, he was a lot more comfortable. He felt like he could move the puck a little better. He was moving and joining the offensive side a lot more, and he's been doing that so in the last 2 games, knowing the confidence and the strength they have now with number 8. Mark what I've said. As much as you want to give this kid, little 22-year-old, guff and trouble and all that jazz, the decision has been made, and it's been told time and time again. He's signed the paper. He's made an agreement. He's got the contract. Let this boy show us what we can do and what we can see from him. He's providing the depth and the stability on the D side. The Jets took 3 out of 4 points away from both Arizona and Colorado, and they take 2 from LA yesterday afternoon. A great, solid game, and the atmosphere and the energy in the MTS Center was electric. Hopefully it continues on tomorrow night when Johnny Taves and Patty Kane are in town. They gave Montreal their second loss of the year, and they come into town tomorrow night. Puck drop 7 p.m., MTS Center. Look for more good things to come. Look for more chemistry, more depth. Bombers, it's adios. I'm sorry. Can't believe it. Now we've got 3 major hockey programs to really worry about. That's what my concern is going to be. Let's worry about the boys. Let's see these guys do very well. Let's see these young guns fill in the voids for these veterans that are injured right now. This is Theo the Juggernaut. Thank you. Have a great Monday. Great start of the week. Adios.